and welcome back to the live broadcast of Sydney International Piano Competition 2023. Nice to have you with me, and very nice to have joining me here Vahé Sarmazian, who is of course from Steinway and a rather important person as far as these pianists go in the next few days. Can you tell us a little bit about your work and what happens during the competitions with...
We usually work behind the scenes.
Indeed.
At very
like
early
picture,
hours
yeah?
of the morning. When there's nobody around and just ghosts haunting us. And we work on the pianos tirelessly.
In fact, it's quite often the way concert pianists work, isn't it? They work in the middle of the night. They can't get access to a concert hall, but they'll work right through to the early hours of the morning because they get access to the hall and the piano, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah? So tell us about what happens during the competition as far as taking care of the pianos and making sure they're working in the right way for
the majority of work has been done before the competition started. So I personally spend about 2 weeks working on a piano to maximize its musical potential, let's say. And then here, at least 3 hours a day, working to make sure everything is still where it needs to be. And as I said, a lot of sleepless nights.
I can imagine, yeah. Because what a lot of people don't realize, I guess, is that a piano is a living instrument. It's affected, of course, by the weather, how much moisture is in the air, what the room that it's in, if it's being moved and all the rest of it. Yeah. It can change quite rapidly, can't it?
It could change quite rapidly, but fortunately, the Bruggenhole is extremely stable environment there. So the piano is keeping its pitch beautifully, keeping its tuning beautifully, because tuning is easy. Keeping it in tune is hard. Moving it doesn't affect it that much because they're very robust. So moving doesn't affect it as much. But moisture, audiences, breathing, humidity, lights, all of that affects it, yeah.
So, of course. And certain pianists play in a certain way. It must be quite amazing for you to hear different people playing the same instrument but sounding completely different.
Astonishing. It really is. Same instrument, same piano technician. If you close your eyes, you think there's 5 different instruments with 5 different performers. It's just amazing.
Vahé, you of course have worked with so many different people. What are the sort of people that choose Steinway have in common? What are the qualities that they're after that you think that Steinway perhaps...
Steinway has the history, the pedigree, the success to back it up. Their instruments have a wide range of expressive possibilities that suits many musicians. The tone, the touch, the evenness, the sensitivity, all of those are factors when someone chooses to play this instrument. And I saw in the statistics at the foyer, it says 97% of musicians play Steinway in their concerts. So that's a testament to their superiority, I guess, in a way.
Indeed, and there's a number of good instruments in Australia, but Australia has a rather harsh climate in many ways for instruments, doesn't it? You know,
it's good for us. We can attend to them. I'm busy, yes.
I'm not sure if lots of other people would say that.
Yeah.
How has modern technology affected instruments as far as making them and making them more stable, perhaps, and much more able to sort of cope with modern techniques and things?
Yeah, manufacturing has gone a long way because of the CNC machines, computers, the accuracy of the execution of each component. For example, the parts, the quality of the parts have risen quite a bit since last century. We have better chemicals, better glues to put all of this together. So all of them, the result of all of this is a superior instrument to what we're accustomed to in old recordings, for example.
Indeed, and it's not like a string instrument, a violin or a cello or something. The older it gets, the better it gets. Actually, pianos wear out, don't they?
Pianos wear out because they're under tremendous pressure with that kind of tension on the piano, with the strings highly tensioned. They fatigue and they lose their ability to produce a good tone on a molecular level. So therefore, after a few decades, depending on the usage and the environment, we need to overhaul the instrument, and because it's a mechanical instrument, like any mechanical instrument. If you drive 500,000 kilometers on a Rolls Royce, you need an engine. Yeah. It's the same.
It's the same sort of thing, yes. Yeah. And I guess also it depends on the repertoire of the pianist, because some pianists are busy all the time with really huge works, I should imagine.
Yes, that's right. And I remember one pianist wanted to do all the Bach well-tempered clavier, which is right in the middle of the instrument. So he wore out the instrument in the middle, and the outside of the instrument was completely brand new. That was his way of getting into piano, I guess.
That's very
so yeah, it definitely depends on what kind of repertoire and what kind of physique they have and how hard they play.
They play, and this, I guess that has an influence then on the sound that comes out, doesn't it? In many ways.
It brings us back to what we were talking about earlier. Each pianist brings a different aspect of the sound and the tone of the same instrument. So it's to do with their upper body and their technique and how they process that on their fingers.
How do you think artificial intelligence will affect something like piano making and pianos in the next while? Do you think it's going to change things in some way or another?
It might in the factories at the production level, but I don't think it will affect my work, for example, because tuning is very much a human thing. Tuning is a reconciliation between being mathematically correct and musically appealing, and all of that to do how we perceive music and how we perceive acoustics and the environment of the instrument that we're working on. So I don't think AI is going to have much effect on field work, but definitely at the manufacturing level it might, yes.
Yeah, and of course tuning is a rather complex thing, because even if you do go according to a computer, tune an instrument, it's not right, is it? It's the human ear that actually gets it correct.
You can do it with the computer and it will be mathematically absolutely correct with all the algorithms, but musically, as I said, it might not be appealing. I have done that experiment with chamber music where the chamber musicians weren't happy with the intonation of the instrument, even though the instrument was perfectly in tune. So when I retuned it by orally, everything fell in place. Yeah.
Of course, some performers prefer tunings to be higher so that it sounds a bit brighter, or a little bit lower. So it's a very personal thing.
It's a pitch perception. It is a little bit personal. The tone is more personal, whether it's a mellow or warm sound or a slightly more brilliant sound, which makes the instrument bigger in a bigger holes. But the pitch is agreed upon depending on what the chamber musicians are tuning to, or the orchestra's tuning to, anything from 440 to 443.
Yeah, and that of course varies even within Europe. Of course, in London, most people are playing 440. Yeah. On the continent, 442, 43. That's right. Even. Yeah. What about here in Australia?
It's around 441. Yeah.
441. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. So orchestras are playing just a little bit higher.
Just a little bit, yeah, because it does give it a bit. It becomes a bit edgy if it's too sharp. If it's 443 and thereabouts, it gives it that edginess about it. And some orchestras are not comfortable playing that.
Well, it's not only the orchestras, of course, some instruments have difficulty getting up there, don't they? You know, so if you're playing with other instruments that need to tune up to the piano, then they're playing at a rather uncomfortable
it's harder,
way.
Correct, yes.
Have you had some nice experiences with people over the years, certain performers that have really... you've come to know over the time, got to know their taste, and you don't have to mention.
No. Well, of course, I enjoy my work. Obviously, on being on stage, I do have a music background. I studied music and performance and so on. So I speak the same language. Yeah. So then we can get along, and then if they can articulate what they need and require, I'm more than happy to do, obviously. But there are different types. There are the difficult ones. There are the easy ones. But we're there to comfort them, and they don't need to think about the instrument. They have to concentrate on their music making.
I can imagine sometimes you get phone calls in the middle of the night saying, I'm not happy with this and I've got a concert tomorrow.
Yes.
Can you come and change that?
And if I can, I do. As I said, often there's not much wrong with the piano. It's just me attending to it. It makes them feel comfortable. So it's all part of the game.
How about the performers here in this competition in 2023? Has it been easy keeping them happy? Have they been fairly content?
To be honest, I'm giving them their space. I haven't communicated with many of them at all. They know who we are. If they have any questions, obviously they can come and approach us. But I know how it is and how it feels, the pressure they're under. So I just keep them alone. And as I said, if they have anything to ask for, they're more than welcome to.
You have a music background, you said. Do you enjoy also listening to all these different performers?
To a certain degree, I do. It becomes a bit tiring after a while, because I do need to look after my hearing, obviously, and I can't get too tired.
How does one take care of one's hearing in that respect? Because, you've got to really, it's your livelihood, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I don't go to loud places or crowded places. I don't go to nightclubs. Anything above 80 decibels, it bothers me. And if I am in an environment like that, I use earplugs. If I'm exercising at the gym, for example, with a very, very loud music, I always have my earplugs on. So that's how I protect it.
Indeed. Okay. And long may they stay in good condition and, and unaffected as possible. And that was Vahé, technician from Steinway. You are watching the live broadcast of the Sydney International Piano Competition 2023.